Hey everyone, it's Jay Bradley, and I just finished my live stream Breathwork and Ho'oponopono meditation, and it was right here back where I teach twice a week. Of course, there was nobody with me, unfortunately, due to what's going on, but I hope you guys will consider joining every single week for what I think is the most life-changing process, breathwork and Ho'oponopono. And I'm also super grateful to Liberate for providing this space and sharing more of this healing work online for you, especially now during this time of quarantine. So if you'd also like to donate to Liberate, please go to liberateyourself.com and let us know what you need. Let us know. We're here for you. I know it's a difficult time, and it's exciting for us to be able to help share the healing, not just for you, but for the world. So hope to see you soon.
Hi, this is Cristina Dam, and this is Liberate the podcast, where we educate, motivate, inspire, and liberate your consciousness. Hi there, welcome to another episode of Liberate the podcast. Today we have Amrit Daswani with us, and he is a yogi and specializes in performance yoga, and we're going to learn a little bit and deep dive into that and the benefits of it, and kind of talking a little bit about kind of remaining healthy in the fight against the coronavirus and other colds and flus, and how your body just needs to be healthy, right? You know?
Yes.
That's kind of
we need to be in the best health of our lives, especially today with everything that's happening. So let's get right into it.
All right, well, let's get into it. So I want to hear a little bit about your journey, you know, and what got you into yoga. And specifically into performance yoga, and what is performance yoga? So we need to know all about that, and then we'll talk about all the health stuff too, and being in the best health of our lives.
For sure. So basically what got me into it was when my father passed when I was 12. He was 49 at the time, and he had diabetes, and he was a very social, like everyone loved him. He was like really outgoing, but due to health circumstances and just lifestyle imbalance, it happened, and I started questioning reality, and I started questioning my existence and who am I. And my mother had this teacher named Ramesh Balsekar, who was a student of Ramana Maharishi. And Ramesh was a ex-banker in London at the time, previously, and then he had moved to India. And my mother had opened the house to spiritual seekers from all over the world. So there were folks from Australia, from New York, and our house just became a melting pot of seekers. And they would go to Ramesh's house, who was in the next lane. And I started listening to some of Ramesh's lectures, and it was all about questioning who am I, and viewing pain and pleasure and good and bad as the same thing, as part of existence itself, and not identifying with either one. And I was about 14 or 15 at the time, and then I got into bodybuilding. And I started getting a little more aesthetic, and I was also a DJ at the time when I was 16. So I spent a lot of the early childhood, in nightlife and DJing
and kind of maybe having a little on balance yourself, but having you were caring about your fitness and your physique, and but also having that questioning element, I mean, that's a lot for a child to experience such a loss at an early age, and then having the privilege of having these higher level spiritual seekers and leaders come through, where you are this sponge absorbing this information. And you normally don't have people questioning their self or their existence until, their second half of life. So, I mean, this is something that you were doing when you were just starting living,
Yeah. I don't know. It just happened. And then I got into more of the yogic practices. I had a teacher who'd come to my house. His name's Vinod. He was just a normal guy from Himachal Pradesh. which is next to the Himalayas.
Okay.
So he would come 3 times a week, charge us, 3,000 rupees a month. It was like $50 a month for 12 sessions,
Wow.
which is a pretty good deal.
Yeah. It was a really good deal. And so you and your mom would do yoga together.
Yeah, she would partake sometimes. Mostly it was from, I was doing it because I grew up with asthma and like a poor immune system as well. And a lot of my friends were into hashish and things of that nature, which I happened to partake in as well growing up. So the pranayam and the breath work and the movement practice was countering the maleffects of the nightlife and
Yeah, that's what I said. You were like teetering on both sides there, but it was probably keeping you a little balanced because it's like, okay, well, at least I'm taking care of myself, but then I'm not taking care of myself, right?
Yeah.
And then so, was it that when you first started doing yoga that you were like, wow, there's something to this. I want to dive deeper into it. I mean, when did that happen?
So it was between yoga and weight training and balancing, figuring out the right balance. And then I encountered a lot of injuries while weight training. It started with the low back, with sciatic nerve pain, then with the rotator cuff, with the shoulder pain. And it was just and then the pectoral, I tore my pec muscle. And then I got into different healing modalities. I was just looking into different things like corrective exercise, posture therapy, and performance yoga was born out of different healing arts and.
So what exactly is performance yoga and why is it different than other yoga traditions?
Yeah. So it's essentially a preventative program to improve posture, performance, and confidence. And it's very different because it's mainly science-based and it works mainly on function. So the key component to this is functionality.
Okay.
For example, throwing a ball, you have to contract this muscle, right? Press your elbow back in order to throw the ball. So in resistance yoga, essentially you're contracting the muscle and then you're stretching it simultaneously while contracting it. And then you're getting to strengthen the muscle on the way back as well. And then you release tension. So it's resistance. You apply the resistance and then you pull in the opposite direction. So it's lengthening the fascia, the connective tissue, that's essentially holding the entire body-mind organism up. Is the fascia, it's like a interconnected web-like structure that holds things together. And
so, and so then people can throw the ball farther. Right?
Yes.
So it improves strength, and what are some of the other benefits? And I'm guessing it's helping so you don't have those tears and the things that you were going through as an athlete and as a bodybuilder and things along those lines, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Mainly, it restructures the whole body-mind organism. So if there's most people who have injuries are as a result of poor posture, and this happens because of you observe your father, your mother walking, you pick up certain patterns physiologically, I'm saying, and then you end up repeating that, and it just happens where we get repetitive stress injury, or you're trained to be right-handed or left-handed, and then you use that hand all the time.
And then the other hand is like, I tried to do an exercise of brushing my teeth with the opposite hand, and I'm like, I can't. I need my regular. Really just trying to even like the little like daily exercises of life, of how much even the simple things like brushing your teeth and how hard it is to do with your non-dominated hand.
Yes. Yeah. It trains a different side of the brain, and essentially we're bilateral human beings. So everything, you're born with bilateral functions, and that's how that's our maximum capability. So why not use it? To bring balance physiologically. I'm saying, which translates into other things.
It translates into a lot of other things. I mean, besides just mimicking your parents or other postures and things like that, it's also so much on your emotion. You don't really, like an unconfident person or somebody that's in a low, more depressed or sad state is going to slunch over naturally because that's the, neurological kind of posture of it. But if you're sitting straight up, it's like you're in an alert state and it's a confident space. And if your shoulders are back, you're going to be more confident, happier, and all of those things. So it literally can have this effect on your emotions as well, right?
100%. And it affects your testosterone, cortisol levels. So it's funny that you said this because they did a study in Harvard University where they studied certain animals and they showed that when these animals had open, I think they were studying apes or something like that, but they just showed like if you're in a position like this, which is a very inviting open body position, right? It's a power position basically. There's certain power positions, but this is it's like you feel amazing. You just do this, and then they studied the brain, how it increases the testosterone and decreases the stress hormone, the cortisol, just by doing this.
Wow.
So it's
so that we need
powerful.
to all just stand around and do this in this stressful time. If we want to feel powerful and overcome the coronavirus, just stand like this. Everything else will go away.
Speaking about
right? All right, so we learned one thing today. Let's stand like this. We'll be powerful. Harvard study said so.
Yeah, we can put in the footnotes if they are.
Yeah. The link to the study. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then, so where does that correlate to, your overall health and well-being, and where we're getting to, like, as far as like the basis of a lot of the conversation for today about people being the healthiest version of their self? Like, what are some of the benefits of that? And, are there some trick postures like this one that you could show people that could help them, kind of create more of a power in their health or well-being and overcome some of these things so they're less susceptible, or if they get something, it can, be cured a lot faster?
Yeah. One thing is, based on what I've experienced, I've started training since 2006 in yoga and movement and meditation and just questioning life. And over the years, I've come to realize that there's one thing that controls the entire physiology and psychology and energy. It's a nerve called the vagus nerve, also known as the CNX, the 10th cranial nerve. And this vagus nerve connects to the parasympathetic activities of the heart, the lungs, and the digestive system. So a very simple way anyone can do this to reduce nervousness and to release tension. Like my 9-year-old nephew was asking me, "Hey, Amrit, how do I release nerve? How do I not be nervous?"
That's so cute.
And so we did
He's following in your footsteps. You started when you were 12. He's starting at 9. He said, I got to learn this earlier.
And he's very tapped in. He's like, "Yo, you should start a YouTube channel." I was like, "Listen, we'll do it step by step."
It's like you need a TikTok. TikTok account. Okay, so
one very simple way anyone can do this is by simply breathing in through the nostrils and humming. You can put your hand here to feel on the throat till all the air is out. Then breathe in through your nose again. This is a very simple way of just recalibrating and reducing the blood pressure and the heart rate, and basically activating the vagus nerve that connects from the throat here, from the ears to the throat, and it splits here into the heart, lungs, connects to the digestive system, and attaches to points in your spine and connects back up here to the cranium. So that's one thing people can do.
So we got 2 already. 2 tricks, guys. Make sure you don't forget them, Yeah. I like that, though. I mean, just in those 2 breaths, like I could already feel through that humming, the vibration of that vagus nerve, like, yeah, I'm calmer, more centered here, It's a powerful nerve that can, you could be out of alignment.
Completely. Change the state completely, yeah.
Okay. Well, what else,
So we are talking about the coronavirus now. So the main thing is people's immune systems are compromised.
Yeah.
This is why the virus is happening. And it so happens that the virus is started in a country that happens to eat a lot of animals as well. So this tells you something. Biologically, we're designed to be fasted pretty much the whole day, right? We're designed, if you look back in the day, take maybe 50, 100 years ago, people were eating 1 meal a day. Now we eat 2, 3, 4, 5 meals a day.
Yeah, some people recommend 6 meals a day.
I was doing that too.
They
I
say,
would go to bodybuilding.com and these people are like, eat 6 meals a day.
Yeah, they say, smaller meals all the time because you want your immune system to keep on go, and your metabolism needs to, I mean, not your immune system, your metabolism needs to stay up. But, there's a lot of scientific evidence that also on one of the ways for kind of living longer and more youthful, and I'm in reverse aging, is doing intermediate fasting, intermittent fasting, and going those longer periods of the time, so that I don't know, it does something. I'm not a scientist, but it does something where it stimulates your brain. It kind of has this way, but I mean, you see it in all different religions too, with these different fasts and things that go on as part of tradition. But, so go back into you were saying about how a long time ago, we were eating 1 meal a day.
Yeah. When basically what you said, the brain, and science has proven this, that there's a hormone called ghrelin. And the ghrelin hormone is directly correlated with productivity and overall health, basically. So when you're in a fasted state, intermittent fasting, let's say 16 hours, this hormone is being generated, and your HGH, your human growth hormone, is also being activated. And people are like, where do I get my protein from? This whole protein thing's a new, it's a new age thing.
Well, what's funny? It's like, I've never seen somebody say that, I've never heard somebody get a diagnosis of they're protein deficient.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear you're, vitamin D deficient, vitamin C deficient, that you have these other minerals that you're deficient. But I mean, I haven't really heard anybody be told ever you're protein deficient. Have you? I mean, I don't think I have, at least that I know of. Maybe there's somebody that's listening. If you have ever been told by your doctor that they ran some kind of blood test on you and you're protein deficient, I would like to know, because I've never heard that.
Yeah. So we have to fight this virus now. So the main thing is, and this is going to sound a little crazy, what I'm about to say, because...
Hey, this is Liberate. I say some crazy stuff all the time. My viewers know. So they're like, that wackadoo. And then they come and they're like, actually, I thought you were crazy. And then a year later, I realized that there was some truth to that. So don't worry about what they think. Okay. We've said everything crazy under the sun.
Because the media and doctors are not going to tell you this, because they have a job and they have bills to pay and they have a certain way of doing things and they have a reputation. So
and they have certain teachings and trainings that are given to them, so they take that as, I mean, we think, I mean, all of us as we grow up, I mean, we're born listening to our parents, and whether they're right or wrong, we believe that they're right because they're our parents, right? And so if people go into institutions, schools, and universities, and they're taught by colleagues or doing their, there's a way that things are taught, and so there's a way that we're also taught not to question, So if somebody of authority or somebody of leadership of power tells us something, we take it in. And I mean, that starts from when we're kids and we take in what our parents say. Okay, that's the way the world is, or that's the way this is, or that's what works for us or our family or our belief system or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But you're not really taught to critically think and say, that doesn't make any sense, And so I think a lot of people, well-meaning as they may be, is if they're given information, they take in that information and they're taught memorization. So, oh, well, that's what I was taught. That's what I was taught, that you eat a lot of protein, or I was taught that this is what you need to do, or this medication is going to be the cure for you, or whatever the case may be, right? And there isn't very much room for that questioning, right?
Yeah.
So people are well-meaning in different things. Just question. That's one thing you can do, is always question. And question what we say. It might not be true for you. That's okay. What crazy thing are you about to say?
Well, before I get into the crazy, there's a muscle called the psoas, which is a muscle in the hip flexor, the deepest core muscle that's directly connected to the fight or flight part of the brain, the reptilian brain. So in performance yoga, there's a psoas release technique to release emotional trauma, which induces tremor-like responses. If you see an animal, a lion chasing a gazelle, the gazelle will, after some time, it will get scared and it'll start shaking, right? And then after maybe 2 or 3 minutes, it'll go back to grazing as if nothing happened, right? But when we experience some kind of trauma or any kind of fear-induced situation, we tend to hold on to it and it becomes part of our memory. So it's very important to release this, have a mechanism of releasing it. And sure, meditation and the different psychotherapies and things like that are helpful, but the body has its natural way of releasing it. And actually, I've learned this from Dr. Bercelli. He used to be a volunteer for Mother Teresa. And it's a psoas release technique. It's part of the performance yoga training method. So I'd like to share it with your viewers and
yeah, absolutely. And why would you think that sounds crazy?
No, that's one mechanism.
Okay, that's not the crazy topic then. Yeah, okay, I was like, that sounds really logical. Actually, that doesn't sound crazy at all.
The
okay,
crazy part.
We're not releasing our stress and our fear. Okay, yeah, we hold on to it and we clench instead of letting the energy out. I think most people can get that. We just go like this and we freeze. Yeah. And then we shake it off because we're told that we're not supposed to experience much emotion and it's looked at as bad. And then we go upon our day and we go back to work, or we try to shake it off so we don't look irrational in front of whoever we're having a conversation with. And then we hold it and then we go upon our life and we push it to the back of our mind. Yeah. And we never face it again until it pops out like a jack-in-the-box somewhere in our life. It's dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, boom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And this is very helpful for performance artists, actors, dancers. This program is very, very powerful. So I'd definitely... Okay, now we'll go to the crazy stuff.
Okay.
So this coronavirus thing. So sure, fasting is one thing, right? You're doing 16 hours and over. That's great. That's going to... Automatically, your cell mitochondria, things are going to heal themselves. The more healing hours you have, the better. So if you're fasting for 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day, or in a month you have only 300 healing hours. If you're fasting for 16 hours a day, in a month you have now 500 plus healing hours. So that's one thing is fasting. The second thing, this is the crazy part, is urine therapy, also known as Shivambu.
Oh, is this where you drink your pee?
Yes, but you have to microdose it. So there's a way to do it, actually.
I've heard of this. I've always been.
Yeah, it sounds like that. The TED Talks, and we can put this in the footnotes. I'll show you some studies on this too, about how the immunity, it helps the immunity actually. And it's just like a plant, how you use dead recycled leaves. And if you notice those plants where you put the dead leaves back into the soil, it grows even better. So it's the same thing with our chemistry actually. And you don't have to start by chugging a whole glass full of urine. It's not. It's
okay. Let's hear it. Okay.
So basically, you just start with a few drops. First thing in the morning, you collect your urine midstream, so there's no sediments, and you just take a few drops, and then each day, based on how you. This is all based on feeling, sensation. So based on how you feel, you just slowly add maybe a little more, few more drops, till you find like your baseline dosage. And you'll know, your doctor is not going to know, but you'll know.
How will you know what your baseline is?
You'll feel it. Like you're going to feel different. Your teeth are going to get whiter. You're going to feel more energized. And this is one way of protecting from coronavirus, probably the most powerful way, because your urine has antiseptics and antibacterials that no medicine on the planet has. So this is amongst the most powerful things anyone can do.
Now, what about all the toxins? Because I mean, your urine is the way that it flushes out all of, like first thing in the morning, like what I've been doing for years is an Ayurvedic technique of drinking a 16-ounce glass of water right when I wake up. So it flushes it flushes the toxins. I don't want to be re-consuming the toxins.
Yeah, that's a good point actually, and a lot of folks have asked this, but the toxins actually, the antibacterial properties and the antiseptic properties outweigh the toxins. So we're so much into this, I need to detox, what about the toxins? But if you just try it, just try doing it one time, and you can see the studies on it too.
So
it changes the game completely.
So you start out, I mean, people start out with a little bit, and I mean, what's...
Few drops, like maybe 4, 7, 8 drops.
So you're not drinking like a teaspoon is like the most you're drinking of your pee.
Yeah, maybe initially, like the first week, you can progress to maybe a teaspoon at the end of the week from a few drops. Then maybe progress to 2 teaspoons. And then slowly increase the dose. So maybe like it'll become this much.
So it'll become like a shot glass.
Like a shot, yeah.
But nothing more than a shot.
Yeah, no, that's unnecessary. But about a shot, you can increase your dosage. Especially, I mean, this is way better than getting a flu shot. It's like, it's going to completely, you're going to feel amazing. Your skin's going to feel better. Your teeth are going to get whiter. Madonna was also doing it. There's an Indian government prime minister who did it, Morarji Desai. So a lot of folks have done it before. I mean, it's
what did you notice you doing it? And how long have you been doing it? And when did you start? And I know you said, your teeth whiter, these things, but like, what are some of the things that you noticed? And then when you convinced maybe family members or friends to do it, what did they say?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't convinced anyone, but definitely the teeth get whiter, I've noticed. And I don't fall sick. I don't remember when I've fallen sick. So.
But now, is that the urine that you're drinking, or is it the resistance and performance yoga and the fact that you eat super healthy? I mean, there could be so many things, right?
Could be, could be.
Correlation does not imply causation.
Yeah. So I mean, everyone has to try it for themselves.
But you were like, so you came across a TED Talk or a study on this, and you said, "I'm going to try it."
Yeah, I was more of an experiment. My friends, one of my friends, and I guess, mentors, he does it too. And I've just
Okay.
I don't know why I naturally got called to it. So.
You got naturally called to it. I think there was one time, like at Emporium, our other store, like there was one time I was doing a book order and I ordered a book called Urine Therapy, and I was like, what is this? I didn't read it yet, but I mean, but it's prompted some people that when they seen it on the shelf, they're like, oh, my dad did that, or this happened, or this, So like, I know people do it,
Yeah. A lot of these ancient things are coming back now, and it's becoming a trend. Intermittent fasting. I mean, dude, it's a natural thing. You hunt and then you eat. It's like you don't just wake up and eat and then not do anything. It's like.
Yeah.
Because when you're satiated, you don't feel like working.
Yeah.
But when you're hungry, you have the drive. You want to do some stuff. You want to produce rather than consume.
Absolutely. Now, when you were saying before we got into the urine therapy about this technique that you wanted to show people that really helped, So can we go back to that too?
Yeah. So this is for the emotional trauma release technique.
So we can all shake like a gazelle.
Actually, we have to do all the resistance stretching first.
Okay.
To lengthen the myofascia and the connective tissue. And then we get into this psoas release technique where you're basically lying down and your body starts tremoring naturally. It's a natural tremor that happens to release the psoas. And after you're done, you just feel like and I've never taken psychedelics, but I've heard that your orientation of time and space and just completely changes, and you feel like you're reborn again. So
wow,
it's
I need that. I'm sure people that are listening need that.
Yeah.
Is that what you do? And is it most of the classes that you teach? That technique is part of it.
Every class.
Every class.
That's the main part. That's like the main event. First we do all the stuff, and then at the end we do all the stretches. Lengthen the connective tissues in the upper and lower limbs. It takes about 30 minutes. Then we do the psoas release. Takes about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then we do the vagus nerve activation, the sound technique. There are different sound techniques. What we did was just one of them.
Yes.
That activates the throat and the brain, but there's some that activate the gut and the solar plexus too.
Yeah. And so, I know you're doing yoga with us here twice a week now.
Yes.
And I know that a lot of people might be a little getting into that fear state with everything that's going on in the state of the world.
Yes.
So maybe if you're open to it, we can do some live streaming classes and stuff.
We would love to.
Because then we can allow you guys in the comfort of your own home without worrying about getting anybody sick or catching anything yourself, to be able to activate and be healthier and have some of the releases and have some of these benefits that, at the time that you need it most, right? Where maybe a lot of people are more afraid to come out during these times, so you can still have the benefit. So I would love, if you're open to that, to start offering them as it's live stream as well.
We'll do it for sure. So the vagus nerve, this is very important. And for the coronavirus, one more thing is the breath hyperoxygenating. So
and we need to breathe, especially it's causing pneumonia on people, and shortness of breath. So we need to be able to breathe the best that we can, because especially if our airways and our lungs get contracted.
Yeah, 100%. One thing I would suggest, and this is again an experiment that we've been doing, is plant meditations. So you literally go to a plant, hold the leaves, and just, if you want to keep your eyes open, you can keep your eyes open. Or if you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes and just breathe with the plant. It's nothing to it. You're just breathing with the plant, and you're connecting yourself to the frequency of the earth. naturally by just holding hands. I mean, holding the leaves of the plants, as opposed to, because we live in an indoor culture, everything's done indoors. Oh, we want to feel warm. We take hot showers. There's Wi-Fi. There's EMF. There's all these frequencies that are positively charging the system and frying the brain and the nervous system and the cells. I mean, it's just not, it's creating free radicals that are now causing cancer and all these funny words for diseases.
And we're causing disharmoniance. I mean, the the Schumann resonance, the pulse of the earth, we're completely off, and so tapping in, creating that vibrational grounding so that we vibrate at the same frequency is so important.
Yeah, 100%. So being barefoot, very important, and hanging out with plants. It sounds so
and
weird.
Drinking your pee. You heard it here first. You're gonna hold hands with plants. You're gonna fast for 16 hours, and you're gonna start out the morning with a teaspoon of your urine.
Little pee-pee, not too much.
Just a little.
Okay. So that's the vibe.
Hey, everybody's trying every other fad diet and different techniques to get healthy. Just see if it works for you.
Yeah, nature-based integration. This is very important. You have to integrate. There's no way of it. I mean, this is the saving grace. I mean, you have to be in nature, because science has proven that the negatively charged electrons will automatically balance out the positively charged electrons, and your body will become into an alkaline state naturally by just being barefoot. All this stuff, problems, is all self-created. It doesn't actually exist. So allow the earth to just suck up all this stuff that's not moving you forward or making you feel like the best version of yourself. It's very simple. Grounding has become important, but more than grounding is plant integration and just holding the leaves.
Yeah, I mean, and plants have vibration and energy, and they also have consciousness. There's somebody was making a documentary, and they were looking at the consciousness of plants, and they made a way where the plants could play music. So the different vibrational pulses of them, they could play music, and so they would. Each plant had its own instrument or sound that it was vibrating to, and it would do this really cool work and stuff. But they also knew the consciousness of that. So they were testing the pulse when the plants would get excited or when they would get scared and different things like that. You could measure based on the vibrations that were coming off of the plants, based on the sounds that they were tapped into. The frequency of the plant would create the sound. Well, they wanted to test, and they said, I wonder what would happen if I cut off one of their leaves and all the plants shut up. And you could tell that they knew what the person said. They knew that somebody was in danger.
Threat.
And it's an amazing study, but it showed that they understood what it meant to rip off the leaf.
What instrument was being played?
No, they were playing. So each of the plants were wired up so that they played a different note based on the vibrations of the plant. So they could actually create these sound waves that they could play through speakers, so they could hear them and they could hear their self playing. Which is. Yeah, it's fascinating.
What's it called, the style?
I need to find it. I met with the person, and they showed me, the person that was making the documentary, and they showed me the footage of it. It was supposed to be being released on Netflix. I'm not sure if it's out yet, but it should be coming out soon. Yeah.
So what's your take on the coronavirus, if I may ask? Very brief. We won't get too political or too...
Yeah, I think that, we've been very out of balance as a species and as a planet for a long time. And I think that even though that there's going to be a massive clearing and a reset, clearing of our economic system, a clearing of maybe a lot of people's lives, sadly. I stand by the point that I think all lives are eternal, and so people will come back in a different way, different shape, different form, at least that's my belief system, so, but I do think that this is kind of the Tower card in tarot, even if this magically went away tomorrow, the global economy is completely ruined, and so, but this isn't going away tomorrow. And so I think that it's going to cause people to view their self, their life, their health, wellness, and reevaluate what is their value systems, valuing life, valuing human connection. We've gotten so disconnected from people. We've gotten so disconnected from our phones, where you go out to eat and you see people are sitting there across from each other just on their phones instead of engaging, that this is going to clear that away. We've been so consumed with things and gizmos and gadgets and less consumed with our health and our well-being and connecting to nature. And we've gotten so over here that I do believe that this is a course correct for us, and in order to have the right type of course correct that might be needed, it needs to be massive. Because if it's little and it's mild and it's just a little bit, look at it in your own life and in many people's own life, change is the hardest thing to do. So even when people want to change, they find it difficult to change. People that, want to start working out regularly, they can't do it. People that want to shift their diet, people that want to start to create a mindfulness program, people that want to, enjoy life more. Like, even if it's something that they know they're going to love, and where they're at now, even if they're in a horrible relationship and they can't seem to break up with the person, right? It's like change is hard. And now we're looking at, like, besides, if it's that hard as an individual, think about how hard is it to change a society, to change a country, to change a global system, right? And so in order to do that, sometimes it's like, an explosion has to happen. Mm-hmm. Something so big that shakes our reality. And that's normally in an individual life, right? Like where is that manifesting in one's life? Is maybe there's a dramatic incident that happens that you finally split from that relationship. Maybe you get fired from your job that you hated anyway, so it pulls you into something else. Maybe there's an injury or health issue that somebody gets. They get diagnosed with some kind of disease or ailment, and they finally are forced to change their health, right? It tends to be a big explosion that causes people to actually shift, right? And I think that this is what's happening, at least in my opinion, on a global level with this pandemic that we're in.
The last pandemic was in 1918, the Spanish flu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And at that time, we only had 1.5 billion people on the planet. Mm-hmm. Now we have 7.5 billion people. Mm-hmm. 100 years, we grew 6 billion people, and we've depleted so much of the Earth's resources. We've developed a very toxic substance that has polluted the ocean called plastic that just came about in, what was it, the 40s or 50s, plastic was invented. And, and now you have islands that are the size of countries where the currents meet in the different oceans, And so you have, 7 islands around the oceans filled with plastic. You have go fishing and pull out a fish and cut a larger fish, cut its belly open, and there's plastic pieces. Tortoises are having plastic in their nose and things like that. And it's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing as a species? And what are we doing? Like, almost every single animal that is in existence now is on the, extinction list or endangered species list. They're either almost extinct or they're endangered. And every animal that lives is depending upon humans for their survival, of whether we decide that they live or they don't, right?
Yeah.
And it's, it's a little crazy, and it's very off balance, and I personally believe it's unsustainable.
Yeah.
Because in another 50 years, we're going to have, 16 billion people on this planet? Not going to get easier or better if we keep on doing the same thing and we keep on thinking that we can live in the same lifestyle.
So you're saying this virus it's creating an opportunity to shift our priorities.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
As you started out saying, there's no good and there's no bad, and so it's what are we going to take from this? And we can look at and see the devastation and then the horribleness of economy crashes and people losing their wealth or their businesses or whatnot. And we can see people maybe losing loved ones or people, relatives and people in their life. And we can look at that and we can only focus on that. Or we can focus and say, okay, as a result, it's not going to be immediately, but as a result after, are people going to change their value system? Are we going to look at what's really important? Are we going to try to create a more sustainable, health-conscious environment? Are we going to value human relations and activities and social gatherings over tangible, useless goods that end up in the ocean? Is this going to force us to need to be the healthiest we can be? And as a result, we're operating at our best self.
Yes.
Physically, mentally, emotionally,
Yes. It's really important. So we have to biohack the system now.
Yeah.
And we really have to make this human operating system the best as it can be. We can come back to nature. We are nature.
So we can hold some plants and drink our pee. Making some light of it.
One thing that you mentioned was human touch, and they've done a lot of studies now with the correlation of the vagus nerve and human touch. And I've noticed that coming to the western part of the people are repelled by touch, but I feel like it's a very important part too. So a very simple thing, like just
a touch.
Yeah, just feeling the sensation of the person and acknowledging that we are part of this one energy. It's just like your whole state changes, like.
And your perception changes. There was actually a study done at Duke University years ago, and they took elementary kids and they went to the library and they were to check out a library book. And the librarian was to say the exact same thing to the group of kids, two different groups of kids with one difference. Okay. So in the first group, when the librarian gave back the library card, she gave it back like this. Give me your hand. She gave it back like this. Okay. So you grab the card. Okay. In the second group, she gave it back like this. Just a finger of touch. Okay. Said the same thing to both groups of kids. Later, the kids were asked their opinion of the library, the opinion of the librarian, and the first group of kids that didn't have just the finger of touch. Remember, all other variables were the same exact words said to the kids. The kids said that they thought the library was okay, that didn't receive the touch, it was okay. Was the librarian nice or me? She was neutral. Did she say anything in particular to you? I don't really remember, kind of thing. Very neutral, whatever,
Feedback, yeah.
And the second group of kids that just got that finger of touch, they said the librarian was nice. They thought that she said, have a great day when she didn't. They thought the whole library was better.
Wow.
That little tiny finger of touch, just like that, caused the kids to have a better perception of the librarian, think that she said more positive things to them, and saw the library in a more positive way. And so, that was amazing, you know?
Yeah. What's the study called?
I'll have to look it up and we'll put it as a footnote, but it was from Duke University.
Got it. Yeah, so I think it's time for us now because, it's just things are shifting. Now intermittent fasting's become popular. People are moving into more therapeutic things. Even the athletes are now eating plants. There's a there's a documentary called Game Changers. You must have heard of it, right?
I don't know if I've watched that one, but I know that there's a huge movement of shifting of consciousness happening now, and different ways of looking at how can people be healthier. And I think that this is going to magnify and push that further. So it's not just people on the coasts or the different things that, at least in America, it's everywhere, but then it's also in other countries and other places, and looking at, you know, where can we merge this mind, body, spirit connection and take, you know, we live in this interconnected world now where we have the privilege of understanding different belief systems and traditions from everywhere, that we can literally pluck and choose the best and design something that is for us, you know, and use all of these sacred tools, old techniques and belief systems and ways of life, and integrate that into something that's this hybrid of all the best.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The integrate, I like the integrate part when you say it, because that's where the rubber hits the road. And we're Indians, Americans only for a few years, but we're part of this energy forever. So let's acknowledge that.
Yeah. And so where can people find you?
Mainly on now it's called Performance Yoga. So performanceyogamethod.com. That's our website. Our Instagram is Performance Yoga Method. And we'll have a YouTube channel coming out too. That's Performance Yoga Method as well.
Awesome. Thank you. If you wanted to leave people with one thing, what would it be?
One thing is just take care of yourself and take care of people around you, and acknowledge that you're part of the same energy, and you are, the other person is you, and you are the other person. So you're not separate from anything that you're interacting with. So this is real. So enjoy the reality and just have a blast with whatever you're interacting with.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Till next time, and join us for some live stream, and so you can shake around and release some of that emotion too. All right.
If you enjoyed this conversation, like it, subscribe, and share it with your friends. If you want some more amazing resources on your path of liberation, head over to liberateyourself.com and sign up for our mailing list. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram at Liberate Hollywood, all one word, or Liberate Emporium, all one word. Until next time, liberate yourself.
Thinking that you want to take that action step, why wait? Book your session right now. Go to liberateyourself.com, click on either Liberate Hollywood or Liberate Emporium, see our amazing practitioners and who resonates most with you. And then book a session via Skype, phone, or in person. We're here for you, and it's your time to start creating your life.